My name is Kala, Arvind Kala. A friend of ours died yesterday, so I'll express a few thoughts on death. But before that, let me get two facts out of the way. Like our friend, some 35,000 people die every day in India, and in the world as a whole, the dead outnumber the living 12 to 1, because the scientists and demographers and researchers and scholars have calculated that over the centuries, some 100 billion people have lived and died, and the population of the world is current population is 8 billion. Now I'll come back to funerals. And now about funerals, it's like this: is usually the deceased is somebody of an advanced age. The funeral attendees are also people his age, his brothers and sisters and cousins and office mates and neighbors, club mates, like that. So people are there. So I find two emotions at these funerals. One is genuine sorrow. Everybody looks glum because every all those funeral attendees know that fate awaits us all. But at the same time, there's a profound sense of relief that they are attending the friend's funeral. The friend is not attending your funeral. So there's profound feeling of relief. Now I'll come to chauthas. You know that sorrow meeting where people meet to and there's a bhajan, etc., 1 hour long, and at the end of it there are, if the dead person has a fashionable family, they serve tea and coffee and cokes and thin sandwiches which fashionable women eat very delicately, like this, cucumber sandwiches like this. And one thing I notice at these sorrow meeting, the one person who's not mentioned at all is the dead person. He's already forgotten, and I that's natural. If you don't see somebody, you can't hear somebody, and how can you think of somebody who's not there? So that is what it is. Now I'll come to widows and widowers. Since the dead person is either a man or a woman, he leaves behind a widow and a widower. Now, how come we have this phrase "merry widow," but we don't have a phrase "merry widower"? Because in life I've seen widows blossoming after the husband's death. A man can't cope. A widower, he finds it difficult to make a bed and put a pillow cover, etc., etc., and his life derails. But the woman, she'll make tea, sip tea delicately, nibble at a biscuit, and look quite contented. And within a few years of she's busy with her friends and talking on the phone and giggling, where the man is psychoed. Now, after some contented years of widowhood, I would guarantee that if by some chance the husband was to reappear before the widow, she would throw stones at him. Not big stones, but small stones, certainly. That explains the phenomenon of the gravestone in the West. Why the hell, after you bury a person, why do you put a stone on top of him? Because in the Middle Ages there used to be a supernatural fear that the dead man may wake up again, and nobody wanted that, so they wanted to weigh him down so that he wouldn't be able to emerge from his grave. That is the reality, and that explains the abiding pull of Dracula, a man who count who emerges from a grave and after that feeds on sleeping damsels' blood. I mean, he sucks the blood, the vampire, and that is what explains the abiding pull of Dracula over the centuries. And now, now I'll come to a tale from the Mahabharata. When Yudhishthir, the oldest of the Pandav brothers, was denied admittance to heaven, The god asked him 7 questions, and one answer of Yudhishthir's got him admittance to heaven. The god asked him, "What is the greatest wonder of the world?" And Yudhishthir replied, "The greatest wonder of the world is that though we see people dying around us, we don't expect to die, be among them." Now that got him admittance to heaven, and it's really true. That explains the reason why 70, 75-year-old guys, they don't even write their last will and testament for the various children, their assets distribute, because there's that primitive fear that writing my will hastens my demise. Well, these are some of the thoughts I thought after my friend's death. So I've presented them to you. Please forward them to everybody you know, and I'll get going. See you later, alligator.